top portion of the map. 12 o'clock position, ladies and gentlemen. From Team SCV Life, it is HyuN, the master of all best of nines right now, pretty much. Guys, he's facing off against none other than most valuable players, Finale.
Well, HyuN did just beat Life in a best of 9, and Life is regarded by a lot of people as the best player in the world at the moment, so naturally, HyuN must be slightly better than that. So, HyuN, best player in the world. I'm glaring it now. HyuN's really good, guys. He is, and it looks like he's starting to show it in offline events. He, obviously, Brood Warrior 8-teamer, a guy who's round of 16 Code S right now, and I wonder how the groups are going to shape up because I'm excited to see who he's going to play. Ooh, and he's going to 11 pool.
Oh, all right. Not too surprising here, actually. I mean, the spawning positions are known, and if your opponent tries to go Nexus first, as it appears is a distinct possibility, it's not too hard to get some Zerglings inside. Atlantis spaceship, I believe it's a 3-building wall-off. And it looks like Finale is going to be going for the Nexus first, which he did in Game 1, did not do in Game 2, did not do in Game 3. So here we are back once again at the Nexus first opening. HyuN making a nice prediction here, actually. I mean, you know, a roulette player, man, should fall black and red an equal number of times. And, well, you know, Nexus first is your, I'd say that's your black because it's your economic version. Whereas red, you'll run a little more in the deficit. So we'll call that the Forge Fast expand.
Well, I know nothing about roulette, so I will not agree and trust you to handle all of my money when I'm at Las Vegas in a couple of weeks. So there we go. HyuN, though, he's making 8 lings. He's just going to put on a little bit of pressure, see what he can do with them, and he's going to be able to get in there and do something, at the very least. This takes a couple of structures to wall off. It's going to be a long time before any sort of not just before he has money for a photon cam, but of course it has a 50-second warp-in time, so it's going to be a little while before it actually gets up. And it's going to require another structure to actually full wall this. The Zergling's going to be able to do some damage in the front. Oh, but this probe, it's running away, and it's going to take a while for anything to react and come back and full wall this off.
Oh, he turns around. He's trying to run back in time. I don't know if he's going to make it. Get away.
Oh, he gets it. Wow, okay, a little surprised about that, but you know, the gateway is actually falling pretty rapidly in health. 40 hit points, 30, 20, 10, canceled, and the Zerglings get on by. They're actually just going to take out the photon cannon.
Well, the probes are coming down. They're going to get a lot of damage done on these Zerglings, and now it's just 3 Zerglings that are going to get inside, which is so much better. Oh no, 2 more. Okay, that's actually 5, so that's pretty bad.
Yeah, so 5 Zerglings can actually do some damage. They're at least going to pick off a couple of probes here. And yeah, 1 immediately falls, resources lost. You can see going against Finale at the moment, and HyuN is going to be able to disrupt. I mean, this is not registering in resources lost, but that's all lost mining time. That's hundreds of resources being lost.
This is really not good for Finale. These Zerglings are going to continue to be a hassle. Now, there is a Zealot coming up from the lower natural expansion area, and you know, it's going to start forcing these Zerglings to be more of a scouting asset rather than a probe harassment asset, but they'll still be able to close, or get a large gap eventually versus the Zealot from enough running, and then you can kind of duck in and try to go for another probe.
And look at this. Finale is going to try and counter cannon this hatchery, which he may actually have an honest shot at doing because HyuN's not actually getting over there and attacking. For some reason, I thought you said Zoidlings there for a second. I thought these were all like, and I had this funny image of little Dr. Zoidbergs running around all the time.
With a little lobster.
Okay, just running through. So that would be
that's a costume.
If they end up doing custom skins, it would be awesome if you had Zoidberg Zerglings.
That would be real with little lobster hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, instead of metabolic boost, it's like mega large claw. It gets got it. Not going to work out. Going to force the cancel. All right, before we move from Zoidberg, man, coolest costume I saw at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Just a guy who had, you know, like the gloves you put on that like stretchy over your hands. They're like, you know, just cloth. You put them on in the winter. Yeah. And they're just like a stretchy cloth, you know, they're cotton or whatever.
Sure.
So he had one of them that was red, and he just taped it over his nose and over his mouth. And then
Need a cheap costume
he had
idea?
boxing gloves on.
Why not Zoidberg?
For the claws.
Oh, man.
Boxing gloves. And then that thing. It was great.
Oh, Comic-Con. where the most fun people meet ever. Comic-Con can be interesting at times, I will say that. Oh, probes misrallied. There we go, finally getting into the assimilator now. You're starting to see some gas mine from this. Let's take a look at the result of all this. We have layer tech on the way with 41 drones, so everything's pretty normal there. We'll see if HyuN decides to switch things up and do a little bit different strategy. Every once in a while on this map, he'll decide to go mass mutas. Not suggesting that that's what's going to happen here, obviously, as we'd see some more gas put down. But he can be pretty flexible at times.
This is a testament right now to how far behind Finale actually is. HyuN feels such a small threat that he drops a Roach Warren down in 7:30, which is about a minute and 15 seconds later than you typically would. So HyuN, I mean, just in supreme comfort right now. He's basically being pampered and masseused by all of the amenities that this game has to offer right now. And I mean, he's taking his 5th and 6th gases, right? Oh no, okay, he actually doesn't have gases in his main.
Yeah, he always takes them outside of his main. He always takes his 5th and 6th gases last at his main.
So yeah, +1 Glial and Roaches on the way right now for HyuN, as well as a macro hatchery.
And I want to know what Finale's going to be up to. He's decided to get not terribly early +1 weapons, prioritized out the cybernetics for. Didn't really have enough gas to do anything else.
Well, I didn't want to die to an all-in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but now he's got, well, Blink, Immortals hitting the field. He could very well, with a lot of minerals banked up, could easily put down a bunch more gateways. Looks like with this pylon outside here, he's intending on moving over and taking a 3rd base eventually, but could decide to do something different. Overseer finishes just in time, and HyuN keeps it alive.
Incredibly close there. Gonna be really happy about that. Zergling actually, did like a lot of damage to that sentry, but here the gateway's going down for Finale. Now they're going down in a position that's really interesting here. Because I've seen people do this before, and it actually can really work out. Yep. Against you if you go for the 3rd on the low ground. So this is why we're seeing Finale taking the very, very greedy 3rd base towards the front. And this is, of course, going to really, really help a player who uses the strategies that Finale does, because he loves expensive units, expensive gas units, expensive tech, and lots of force fields like we see here.
That's right. Already has a fair number of sentries out, but yes, full walls this off. I've only seen this once before on this map, and I think it's a clever strategy and a bit underutilized because it can catch your opponent off guard. And then you can actually, with not that much, because this gap is not that wide. 2 pylons will watch the entire side of this. You can actually make this a pretty small choke point as well and just really turtle up on this map on 3 bases.
So at this stage, HyuN is on 4 bases, guys. Economically, let's take a look at workers for both guys.
Yep, there you go.
And we're seeing 62 to 63. So actually, I like Finale's position economically at this stage, because he's also got the very greedy expansion. But I want to point out that HyuN researched drops. That is so nice with this 4 base, because look at where Finale's army is going to be. It's going to be out here in the front. It is a very long walk to get home. Whereas if we were seeing that he had instead taken a regular 3rd, his army would be back towards the natural and towards the 3rd, not so far, but wow, he's going to be overextended if a large roach drop arrives in his base, which, drops are on the field. We see that the Overlord is kind of flying over the base right now. He doesn't have a Baneling Nest or anything of that nature, so...
No, but I mean, the Roachling drop is so popular and so successful for a reason. And the nice part, too, is that HyuN, while setting his tech behind, yes, is going to be able to fall back on 4-base economy here, so he will have outs even if this doesn't do all the damage that he would want. There is an observer that's floating around next to the Overseer, and it looks like he can actually see the amount of forces that are gathered up. HyuN could put on some pressure if he wants. I wonder where the rest of those Overlords are. There they are.
What this Overlord positioning could work out so incredibly well for Finale. Let's take a look at his cam, guys, see if he can get a glimpse of this.
Let's see here. So, yeah, he's got a pretty good look at the vision here. And he does see all the Overlords, so now he should have a pretty good idea as to what's going on as all the Overlords are starting to make their way in. And here we go. The Overlords dropping forces down inside of the main. All the forces have to rally themselves back for Finale at the moment. And it may not be enough time. Pooping down some creep, giving a little more maneuverability to these units, too. They stopped everything up at the top of the ramp. It's a little surprising. A blink forward there would open up the Immortals to start doing some damage, and there they go.
HyuN is playing so incredibly well, now attacking into the 4th base. You see the Zerglings and Roaches coming in. Finale not leaving enough forces there. Meanwhile, he's terrorizing the main, probably even going to take down this Nexus. It's getting so low down, and it is gone. Finale falling apart at the seams once again here, Kevin, as HyuN is just dismantling him.
Yeah, I mean, already 30 workers have been killed. It's 45 probes and 65 drones. The Nexus is going to fall momentarily, and now Finale is going to be down to just one base, and he doesn't have that many more resources to be able to reproduce this army. So even though he has a pretty strong army, he actually needs to do economic damage right now, and he simply can't afford to do so.
HyuN is just so good. I mean, the force fields out of Finale here are really nice. Going to lend his army a little bit of survivability. Not going to lose any of these Immortals, certainly. But, I mean, what? He's got 98 supply. Let's see if he can do something with it. HyuN, it looks like, hasn't been keeping up with his larva injects because he's sitting on 1,800 minerals at this moment. And there we go. 27 roaches on the way. That's like another 13 from what he already had. He should be able to hold his counterattack and with it win the game. Here it goes. Finale going to make the last moves to keep himself a chance of victory here in even series.
Okay, fighting on creep is especially risky, but now he really doesn't have a choice. He's got to move in. He's got to do damage right now. It's going to be a game of protect the Immortals. But with all these links coming up, it's going to be pretty difficult. HyuN gathering all those forces up. But he can play the delay game. He doesn't have to attack this. He's just going to sit and max out, and then it's no big deal. Finale is actually the one who has to be the aggressor, and eventually he's going to have to move in on creep.
Oh, wow. Finale has 3 sentries. 4 sentries now. With not a lot of energy. In fact, no more than 2 force fields there. I think it's only 1 force field, but no more than 2. Here we go. 4 force fields. He only drops 3. And this should be it. I mean, the Immortal's getting out some excellent damage and not getting focus fire, but there we go. Immortals are going to start falling. And with it, the hopes of Finale equalizing the series, guys. Losing the last of his units here now as the roaches are coming in. It looks like he's going to retreat, at least for the moment, but there are 24 more roaches and 30 Zerglings on the way. Finale, well, that's a very small quantity of roaches. I don't think HyuN should be engaging this here.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's almost a scenario, though, where he feels that he's just so far ahead that it doesn't matter what he does, and it looks like it's actually going to work out for him, as there's only a few Stalkers remaining, his opponent's down to 60 supply, and Finale GG's. HyuN is up 3-1. He's just 2 games away now from taking his 13th consecutive week of IPL Fight Club.
HyuN playing with a huge variety of strategies, actually. I mean, that time it was like, I made a lot of units and you're expanding again. Shucks, I can't engage. Well, looks like I started researching Overlord speed 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, and he drops in behind his opponent, and there's nothing Finale can do about it. He loses 2 Nexuses due to the multi-pronged attack, and HyuN is cruising ahead. So Finale's got to start mounting a comeback once again. We're going to go to a commercial break, and before we do, we've got a very special little video for you guys. We've started doing a new daily news segment that actually pops up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/IGNProLeague. So we'll toss to that. Quick commercial. We'll be back for game number 5.